This select from where group by order function return a list of stores or location divided by appointment type and how many appointment they have by appointment type, as we can see in the group by. So this is where we were on the last video. We were talking about like how we can see all the stores and all the appointment type by stores, as you can see. So someone asked, we got a question. Someone say, how can we see all the employees, all the supervisors, how many employees each supervisor has, and how many of those employees get more than 10 appointment, right? Easy peasy. So we just going to see how many employees each supervisor has and how many of those employees get more than 10 appointments, right? So let's start. We're going to call it, let's put it right there. Um, let's put a comment so we can know like what we're doing, right? Gonna put a comment right there. The comment will be employee per soup, and then for a slash, we're gonna call it a employee with more than 10 appointments. Okay, we already know, as we see in the previous videos, we have two tables within the data set. So these tables, we have the appointment, branch office, and employee. So in the employee, on the branch offices, we have the employees, sorry, and the employees table, we have the employees and the supervisors, right? So we can just say select, and again have from. So on the select clause, we will have supervisor, and we will say count employee, employee ID. Okay, where we're going to do that, we're going to do that from app, the database we're using, settlers. It should be showing, I don't know what is that showing, and employee table. Okay, then we're going to go by to do supervisor. Okay, why? Because we're using an aggregate function count here, so we don't have to use supervisor. Okay, so let's go. So there's there's 3 supervisors and 12, 12, 1, right? Okay, if we want to see the total supervisor, let's say total of employee, we can just copy this. We don't have to use the group by, no supervisor, just like that, you see? We get the total. There's 35 employees. But basically, the first part of the question is answered. The first part of the question is how many employee per supervisor, right? The second part of the question is how many appointment each of them has. So select how many each of us has. So we're going to select employees, and we're going to count their appointments because we don't know how many appointments they have, right? So we're going to count the appointments. We can say appointment time or appointment type. We can count the time or the type, right? Because they are unique, so it's the same. From, let's just copy this one. We got this. And I know you got this too, right? Now, employee and appointment time or appointment type, either or you want to do, they're not on the same table, right? So they're different tables. So we're going to use a join appointments. Now we're going to use an alias for them. Employee going to call it A, as we did before. And on the appointments, we're going to call it, sorry, employee going to call it E, and the appointment is going to call it A. And then we're going to fix that with E dot employee and A dot appointment type on. Let's just copy this right here. Just copy E dot employee equal to employee. But there's no employee. We're gonna fix it. There's no employee. It's employee ID. Employee is the table. The column name is employee ID. Where did we get that? Oh, okay. I see. See where. Now go on group by employee ID. Okay. Okay, we go by employee ID. Oh, we're missing what we needed to do. We needed to more than 10 appointments, right? So let's say more than 10 appointments. Let's order by total appointments. Okay. Okay, so auto descendant. Okay, so there's employees who has 14 appointment, 13, 12, 10, you see, but there's no employee. There's a lot of employees who has like less than 10, right? Like Wahi, okay? I could put Wahi where I'm gonna show you where. I could put Wahi where total appointment is greater than 10 or greater or equal than 10. What would happen in this case? If I want it, it would give an error, right? What would happen? Because the workloads, we're doing workloads on the total appointments. And remember, workloads goes before the select. Even though you see select go first, the select function goes first, but the workloads go first, right? Even on the URL call, the way the SQL process it. So in that situation, if I want it, it will say an error. Let me show you, right? I'm gonna want it, it will show an error. So nothing happened. There's an error, right? There's an error right there. Unknown total column and workloads, right? Because we're using total appointment. So on that situation, what we're gonna do, we're gonna use a CTE. We're gonna use a CTE to do it. Okay. So on our CTE, we're gonna call that with. Let's give a name. The CTE. Let's call it 10 appointments. Now, appointment 10 as that the CTE. Okay, I put everything on the CTE, and then now we're going to select. We're gonna call. Let's call this one employee ID. Now we can have a total employee, total appointments. Okay, from appointment 10. It's a weird ass name, right? Now we can put the workloads. Where what's the difference? Why can we put here? Because on the CTE, the function total appointments, everything going one first, and then this going one, right? So that's why we put it right here. Say greater equal than 10. Greater equal than 10 or greater than 10, whatever the question was. There you go. Okay. Now the question was not to list the list of employees IDs. The question was how many of them, right? So to do that, instead of putting the list right there, we're gonna count them. We're gonna put okay. So we no longer need the total appointments. There you go. Okay. This was the question. So there's 13. There's 13 employees with 10 or more appointments. What am I gonna do? First, I'm gonna do CTE with. I can use the same thing. I'm gonna type it down. Let me just type it so you guys can see what everything I'm doing. I'm gonna say employee. I'm gonna say something different just in case so you guys can see what I'm doing, which is the same thing, right? Employee 10 or appointment 10, whatever. Appointment 10. Appointment 10 is the one with more or 10 or more appointment. As we can copy this one right here because we're going to combine everything we just did. So I can copy this one. Select, I got the employee, the total appointment, and then we wanted the supervisor. Okay, that supervisor because we're combining. Remember, we did supervisor first and then do the employees. So we're gonna combine them. So we got employee, total appointment, and then the supervisor. We got the join, which is we made it earlier. We got the group by. We can do the other by later at the end. Okay, group by. Okay, which is very important when you use group by. Any select clause that's not an aggregate function should be in the group by. Okay, so in this case, you see we got the list of the supervisors and the employees and all the appointment, the total appointments they made. But our question was to get the only the amount or the quantity of employees per supervisor that has 10 or more appointment, right? So we're going to do a second CTE just to get what we wanted. And we're going to divide it by supervisor. So we're going to say division by supervisor. Okay, division by supervisor. Do so. Okay. I put the comma right there, and then I use a net different CTE. So I don't have to put with again with in the name. I don't have to repeat the word with right there. Just put a comma and use the second CTE. So I'm going to select supervisor, which is from this one. I'm going to select this one, which is supervisor from this one. I'm going to count the employee ID. Let me just copy employee ID. Okay. I'm gonna call it, what are they? Okay, yeah. I'm gonna give it a name, total employee. And then we also need the list when they are over or greater than 10. I can't get it right here. How? I'm gonna use I'm gonna use a case function. Case when, and then the case function has then, he has else, and he has end. Sometimes I do it like that so I can remember, so I don't forget. Because if you forget any of this, it won't work, right? So I just put it like that so I can remember. Let's call it employee over 10. Well, not just over, but like over equal than 10. Whatever. Over equal than 10. It's like, what's going on? Okay. So in our case function, we say when total appointment is greater or equal than 10. When it's equal than 10, we're going to call it 1. Else, that will be 0. And we're going to sum it. So we're using the sum function, not the count function, because we cannot use the count function like kind of twice over the same thing. Okay? So if I use count total appointment right here, it won't. Or if I use the workloads we did right here to filter it, it won't work on that case. all those supervisor, employee, which is the total employee, and the total appointments, we're getting them from the table appointment 10, which is the CDE we used before. From, just copy so I don't make any mistake. Just copy it. Let me put the indentation in here. I'm gonna put indentation so we can read it. Okay. So in this case, I can go by. Let me go by here. I can go by supervisor. Let me see. I think I got here. Yep, I can go by supervisor. Can I? Do I have to order? No, I don't have to order. I can order later. And then now I can select supervisor. I can select my total employee and also employee over 10. But they're not just over 10, they are equal or over 10. I can say from the second city we created, because the second one is coming from the first one, so you don't have to call both of them. Just call the second one. Now we can order by either a total appointments or appointments over 10. Let's say total appointment. Okay, so this function will filter and will give us only those with more than 10 or more. There you go. So basically the supervisor Alice Smith has 11 appointments and only 11 employees as total, and only 2 of them has 10 or more appointment. Remember in total was 35. Okay, we good. 12, 12, 24, and 11, 35. So the total is good. Let's just order descendant. Okay. Now there's something else I can do. If we don't want to order right here descendant, we can do something else. We can see a percentage. Okay, a percentage per the supervisor. How do I do that? I can just say employee. That's a good thing about CTE. I can use those functions already created later on to do any math, right? So that's the good thing about CTE. The same thing, I can use workloads. I can use everything. I can use workloads right here with those functions I created above, which I couldn't use if I use directly from select from function. I couldn't use it, so now I can use it. That's the good thing about CTE. I'm doing a straight math. Employment over, or who has 10 or more divided by the total as percent. Now I can order by percent. Descendant. Okay. So Bob Green has 12 employees, 8 of them has 10 or more, and he has a 66% or 67%, which is good, right? Which is good. So we can do the same thing with the CTE. If we want to use, don't use CTE, we can use a nested function. We can do the same thing using nested function if you want to. How we will do it, let's go with it. Just quick example. That's a nested function. You're gonna use a nested function, right? Oh, what am I doing? And let me say select from, and now select, I need supervisor. I also need, let me put it right here, count. Let me see indentation so I don't, I need total appointment. with supervisor, total employee ID, employee, the total employee first, because we this nested function as, let's call it total employee. Right, the same thing we did before, right? And then we're gonna use a case function right here. We're gonna use a case function, sum, the same thing we did. Yeah, the same thing we did. And then now from, now instead of from, remember, we are using count and sum on function that we calculating and we don't know where they are, like total employees, or not total employees, total appointments. So we don't have anything related to total appointments. We calculated before within a CTE, but we don't have it right here, so we have to get it. So that's why we use a nested function for it. All right. So in our nested function, on the form, we're going to select employee ID, we're gonna, that's where we're gonna get a total appointments, appointment type as total appointment underscore appointment. Okay, and do we need supervisor as well? Okay, we need supervisor. Let's get supervisor. Okay, so our nested function need a form. Oh, hold on. Oh, we're missing something. We are using aliases. Oh, we're not using aliases. We need to use aliases. As, yeah, we're gonna kill it. We're gonna give him the same name as we did before, so we can remember. Div soup, we're gonna call it DS. So we're gonna call that one DS dot DS dot DS dot, because we need to use function, right? Aliases, and this we're gonna call it E, because supervisor is coming from E table. Employee ID is coming from E table as well. Appointment type is coming from A, which is appointment. The same thing we did before. Let me just copy it. So we just did the same thing. Instead of we using it on a CTE, we use it on a nested function. Okay, just copy and paste. We call that DS. Now we can go by, put below so you can see. Go by supervisor. I can order by if I want to. Order by, okay, I got total employee, I got employee over 10. I can, let's say, what do I want? I want employee over 10. Okay. Now let's total employee. Let's go by total employee. Descend, okay? Yep. But before, let's go quick, summary, quick recap. DS, which is the aliases we're using, supervisor, employee ID, that's good. Select, okay, there's this extra space, let's remove. So for good, employee, appointment, that, okay, that's good, that's fixed. As, oh, I got two aliases, let me remove that. Oh, okay, so we grouping by, oh, forgot. And we grouping by, let's group by supervisor and employee ID. And we got the extended. Okay, we're using that one to implement. Okay, so we're good. Let's run it. There you go. So there's 12, 12, 11, 3, 8, and 2, which is the same thing we got earlier, right? So we use CTE to get it, and we use um, what did you use? We use nested function to get it. So there we go. You can keep on practicing with it, and if you got question as this one did, Mario did, he has a question wanted to me to do it. I did it. You guys can now try it, and at this link I'll put it on GitHub on the link so you can see the link, and you guys can ask question as well. Ask any question.
We've come to the end of this video, but we got plenty more. Visit our profile, smash that button, leave us a comment, like, subscribe, and share. Those that have reached me privately, pretty good. I've answered all the questions I can. And also, guys, the link we have in the description, click on it and share it with others. Visit our profile, leave a comment, share, like. See you on the next video.